And I think the biggest problem that I see in modern relationships is this attitude that like, I don't have to be what someone else wants me to be. Like, I am perfect the way that I am. If you can't accept me at my worst, you don't deserve me at my best. So there's like this weird attitude of like independence and radical acceptance, which I think leads to toxicity. And it's like, yeah, sorry, like this is just the way I am. Screw you. If you don't like it, you can leave.
And then what about going from a healthy relationship then to a healthy marriage? Keeping the excitement, keeping the spark, keeping the interest.
So the first thing is to understand that a relationship evolves over time, which we've already talked about. But the second thing, the most important thing that I think transitions into marriage, I don't know if it's necessarily marriage or like from the short-term to the long-term relationship, is that early on you have so much neurochemistry working in your favor. So you're excited by this person, there's novelty, there's attractiveness, the sex is new. We sort of know that in a default state, the amount of arousal that you feel with a new partner is greater than what you feel with like a partner over time. That's in the default state. Now, a lot of people will interpret this as like, this is a biological truth. The core feature of human beings that a lot of people who are like, this is the biological truth, the core feature of human beings is that we are not bound by our biology. We're the only species on the planet that does things that are biologically, we have consciousness and we have the ability to shape and change our internal environment. Now, it's possible animals can do this, but we don't have really any evidence of that. Some evidence of maybe self-awareness. But like a dog can't wake up one day and decide like, I no longer want to eat this thing. Like, they're just not capable of that. They can be trained, but that internal process is impossible. So we're not defined by our biology as human beings. And celibacy is a great example of that, right? So like people will be willfully celibate and it's actually like works. So I think the biggest thing that is required is you have to understand that when you first start dating someone, things are going to be easy because the neurochemistry is in your favor. You're going to feel hornier. You're going to feel more excited. You're learning about this person. There's going to be a lot of stuff that's working for you. So the factors work for you and work for the relationship. Over time, what starts to happen is you have to start working. You have to start doing the work. So over time, what feels natural, right? When y'all got together and the first time y'all had dinner and it was like, oh my God, this is so natural. And like, this is a fit that was made in heaven. And over time, that wears out, right? And then you all have to start putting work into maintaining the relationship. So I think this is where a lot of people fall short, is that a relationship feels easy at the beginning, and then people will break up because it's starting to feel hard. This used to be so easy. And that's what happens to everybody. It gets harder for everyone all the time. It's the people who recognize this is getting hard and this requires my effort, and now I'm gonna have to put intention into it. And once they solve those problems, that actually makes the relationship stronger. So when things get tough, like some people are like, this is not what I signed up for, because it's very different from what it was early, right? Early on, you've got your honeymoon phase and you're willing to overlook all the red flags. But at some point, case in point of celibacy, right? There was a red flag. There was also failure on my part, a second red flag. But at some point, those things have to change. And I think the biggest problem that I see in modern relationships is this attitude that like, I don't have to be what someone else wants me to be. Like, I am perfect the way that I am. If you can't accept me at my worst, you don't deserve me at my best. So there's like this weird attitude of like independence and radical acceptance, which I think leads to toxicity. And it's like, yeah, sorry, like this is just the way I am. Screw you. If you don't like it, you can leave.
But where do you find the balance in that between accepting a person for who they are and saying, this is just me, versus knowing if that's something you need to work on?
So it's beautiful because I don't think you need balance. I think what you need is both.
Sure.
So let's understand something about acceptance. So people will say like, so acceptance is accepting where you are. And growth is about where you want to go. So the pitfalls here are that some people don't actually accept their partner. So a simple example is like, let's say like body count, okay? So whether it's high body count or low body count, like I don't care, I'm not placing a value judgment, but some people will say, you've had like, so this is especially true of like men who have fewer sexual partners and especially substantially fewer sexual partners than their female partners. Mm-hmm. So they will feel insecure about it and they won't be able to accept. So there's some kind of like, even though they're dating, they're saying accepting things, internally they don't accept. And internally they feel resentment, they feel shame, they feel some amount of like, like I should have been better or whatever, I don't know, whatever. So if you kind of look at that in that moment, this partner, even if you're dating this person, you're not accepting them. Now, that's one thing, but change over time doesn't mean staticness. In fact, it's the opposite. So if I'm working with someone who is, let's say, an alcoholic, the first step to change is acceptance. As long as you're in denial, you can't as long as you're in denial, you can't grow at all, right? So with Alcoholics Anonymous, it's like, hi, my name is Alok, I'm an alcoholic. They start with acceptance. So I don't think that it's a balance between the two. I think one actually leads to the other. The problem is that we've started to think about acceptance as like carte blanche to do whatever you want. That's not what acceptance is. Acceptance is acknowledgement of the present circumstances. And then once you acknowledge what the present circumstances are, like in my case, like I realized, like, holy shit, this girl is not giving up on me. She deserves better, right? And there's two things that can happen when a dude has that thought. Number one is, oh my God, you're gonna leave me, right? You're gonna leave me and you're gonna find someone better because you deserve better and you don't deserve me. The second is, I'm gonna become better. I'm gonna become what you deserve. And it's when people start doing that, when both parties do that in the relationship, I'm going to be what you deserve. I'm gonna grow for the sake of this relationship. I'm gonna get better. It's not accept me at my worst. If you can't accept me at my worst, you don't deserve me at my best. It's that I'm grateful that you're accepting me at my worst and you deserve nothing less than the best 24/7, and that's what I'm moving towards. But you cannot do that unless you accept that there's a part of you that's shitty here and now.